Loud versus Eternal Esports. I'm really looking forward to this match because both of those teams have won their quarterfinals in a 3-1 fashion. Very convincing, looked super strong. And if anybody can still make it so Loud does not end up in the grand finals like they've been so often, this is the last chance. Eternal has to make it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I was gonna call out the melody that the stats show up, but she was directly banned. So yeah, that's something that we don't really see on other regions, and that's those kind of aggro picks that we could expect here. We saw the Max that is not that aggro, but make all the combo a bit more aggro, right? Everyone can get that speed up and push a bit, and yeah, let's see the last pick.
Really interesting to see this draft kind of fly through. It really feels like Loud kind of knew what they wanted. I think Gus and Byron is a strong hybrid of support, but also long-range sharp shooting. It's something that I think both of them may struggle a little bit into something like Piper, and there, once again, we're seeing this stew. On a map like Shooting Star, that's a little peculiar, but at this point in the region, I guess I just have to expect it.
I see a Byron and the Gus, two support brawlers, and then I expect something like a Kaze, something aggressive. Stu comes out, so definitely this is going to be our special of the Leighton region at the moment.
Yeah, I think Stu itself is not the best brawler in this map, but I think it's a really good pick against Max especially, but they can also push that that Piper easily, and also you have probably he's gonna play the speed gadget, so he can also tank the pulse.
Well, here we go. Semi-final #1 for South America. Loud have been top dogs of the region for a long time. Eternal, though, no strangers to the limelight. Motep, Jubileo have been a part of some phenomenal teams. Have been to things like the World Finals, LCQs, and now Kawe joining them after having a really successful 2025 season. So far, Loud being stuffed in their spawn right now. Just the oppression being felt from the Stu skating up and down is making Max's life really difficult.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how in this meta where the pressure is everything, the team that is losing on the start is always the one pressure, right? The one that have the pressure that they always seems like the team win is the one on the spawn hiding, but that's completely normal, right? You have much less to lose if you push, so it's really easy for the losing team to keep pushing.
Equal trade, but Blue Star, of course, separating Loud from the rest. Going to be using things like that phase shift to ensure that they get that Blue Star off the rip. Otherwise, they're just going to have to rely on a speed zone and just how the map plays out. It's going to be Loud grabbing that every single time. And now a little extra speed going down for Max herself.
Yeah, I think Byron is kind of tapping. He's getting super really fast, and he will get a 1 or 2 hypercharge in the whole game. Yeah, the first one, he can get some kills, he get one, and they are still, they're winning. They just need to hold a bit, and they have a really good team to hold.
I love how your immediate mentality, I mean, just goes to show that you've been in the pro scene a while. The second you take that lead, we're good. Let's just, don't overdo it, guys. Let's just chill out. Let's make sure we just hold our positioning. We don't always have to play offense. It's not always about hitting that 20-star threshold. Sometimes it's about taking a lead and maintaining it.
Yeah, it's really important to know when you are winning, when you are losing, right? Seems obvious, right? But it's easy to feel like you want more, that you can get a biggest lead and risk it too much.
Eternal won't get greedy. With the shot clock going down, they will slowly back away. They just have to survive this Loud splits. Stu skating up and down the map. Vengeful Spirits going down for Kyle. Dog, a pull goes through though. Kawe trying to hold on, pouts the super, and the heals go through. Oh, absolutely filthy. I can't believe Eternal survived all that.
Yeah, that was insane. The guys waste everything on surviving. That was insane. He also even dodged a few bullets. In the other side, the Piper was dying, so if they get the refrag on the gas was not enough, if I'm correct. So they defend really good.
Yeah, all that going down in the blink of an eye, but Gus shield going up, Byron heals going out. That's why it's such a nasty combo, because there's just so much potential to keep themselves afloat. Stu, like you mentioned, untraditional, but in the middle of this map, does typically benefit on a one-on-one versus Max, but the team play has just been a little bit better for Eternal. That's a great start for Loud, though. Firecrow gets the frag on that top left-hand side, so now it's Blue Star plus some.
Yeah, I mean, the Stu seems really weak on the open, but once he gets a wall, it's really dangerous, because in short terms, he can really do a lot of damage, right? Triple tap on any of them is pretty much a kill. So yeah, really dangerous when they step into the next wall.
Eternal, of course, benefit from this indestructible. There's no way for Loud to get to it unless they get around that wall to destroy the speed zone. Adinho now flanking on this left-hand side, destroys all the walls in the bottom right from the teammate, just to give them a little more ability to dodge out. These sharpshooters kind of rely on the open space, and Piper especially is going to benefit into somebody like a Byron who doesn't quite match.
Yeah, the Byron right now have the best matchup, right? Especially when she's opening. So yeah, he has a really good matchup. The team needs him to pop off it's a bit risky always when you rely on a single brawler, but I mean, it's working right now.
Super speed goes down. Motep has to use a super just to preserve his life. Teammate there to cover for him. Now super being charged up for Gus. We'll see if they use that for defense or if they enable somebody like Jubileo to go on the offense. He needs a super first, though.
Yeah, it's really good how Loud adapt his gameplay to know what can work for them. And Piper just need to follow the Byron all around the map.
Loud now, taking their time. Significant lead, 30 seconds on the clock. They're just trying to hold possession here. They don't want to keep themselves in the back heels for too long. They have to have a strong presence, work their way up, and then make sure they're not taking down this late game.
Yeah. The Piper is... Oh, that was fire. The Piper need to get the kills. She cannot die, never now. It's one kill different. They need to kill Edinho. Edinho or Jin, both are fine. But it's okay.
Yeah, ooh, and a nasty pull goes through too. Loud may have dropped one kill there, but the Gene pulls at the end of the game. A couple extra tags go a long way, so that's a beautiful bounce back there. Loud just never really felt like they were trapped for too long. I think that wall break from Piper made a big difference too, just giving them kind of space to work with. Not only does it allow Piper to land more shots, obviously sharpshooters love that, but for Max, it's more maneuverability. Now she can dance around, use those phase shifts or just the natural juking skills to kind of avoid these tags.
Yeah, the first seconds of the game is really important. They need to try not to feed too much the Piper, because if Piper start opening, it's really hard for them. So they kind of need a slow game to pretty much get supers and avoid the other one to get super.
Piper definitely got a couple tags, but it will cost her life. So a 2-1 lead for Eternal. The Blue Stars still something to watch out for, though. If Loud get a single frag, they can reswing, and now surging up the map as well. Jubileo just relying on holding on and hugging this right-hand side wall. Speed zone there to give him a little extra benefit. Kawi left on an island on his low on the left-hand side, and Loud still continuing to play this Max comp as a unit. That's a lot of times what you'll see when Gene and Max are on a team together.
They need to shout over and over, please don't feed the Piper, please don't feed the Piper, because even the Jin pull, they can dodge it, they can tank it, look, they just dodge it. But the Piper opening slowly will be a win for them.
Ooh, and a nice Byron super there. Keep themselves afloat. And that missed super out of Kyle Dog. Now Eternal can play around that. Loud are significantly less threatening in this moment. It's going to allow Jubileo to move up on this left-hand side, give himself a little space. Eternal still haven't really climbed their way out of spawn, but Loud haven't gotten aggressive either. It's a little bit of a stalemate right now.
Yeah, I mean, Kawi is right now pretty much holding two of the players, Jin and Piper. I don't really know how he's alive. He cannot really heal up against a Jin, and he's dodging really good against the Piper, so he's doing a really good job for his team. Also, Byron is healing. They are having a really good synergy right now, and that's what we need to do.
Now really going to be tested as this clock starts to dwindle away. Super available for Gus as well. We've seen the survivability that it can bring to a team, and Loud, I think, really starting to gear up. They're going to work their way up. Imagine this left-hand side, max speed for the final seconds. They want the closing kill. Yeah,
it's a last push. They are having everything, and they are going to put everything they dodge. That was really good shield. Maybe they can get a frag. They do.
Oh, and a nice response from Eternal. I thought Loud were going to be able to just walk away from the situation. Instead, though, they have to move forward. Oh, and another takedown for Eternal as well. Beautifully executed. Just a situation where Loud were in full control. They waited. They gathered all their resources. Max speed, gene pull, all at the ready for one closing moment. They get the kill. Good on Eternal, though, for a nice heads-up play to be able to respond immediately.
Yeah, I mean, they got the kill, but Byron was hitting the right shots on the Jin, so he couldn't keep it alive. Maybe he could have been tanked a bit, because I think the other two Brawlers were almost full HP right around the Jin, so you always need to take care of your healer, because he cannot heal itself, especially.
I'm really looking forward to seeing those stats. We talked a lot about how Motep and Pekka are not playing together anymore. They've been for so long. And I think we answered the question. Motep can still perform even without Pekka at his side. He did super well, and Byron had the most stars in the end. I do want to see the stats, because I don't know if he actually had the most kills as well overall. And the underdogs are now in the lead. Sunny's happy. Are you too, Pedro?
I'm happy because I know Loud will not give it so easily, so for sure we're going to have more than 3 sets.
No 3-0, that's super nice. And we're looking at the stats now. Motep did in fact have the most kills on his team. Edinho, I think they wanted the Max to have a bit more value, Kenny.
For sure, and I mean, Max isn't necessarily built to be some aggressive top-tier killer, but alongside Gene, it's a great synergy, and it allows them to pick the Piper as well, because traditionally, Piper's not going to do well into Gene or Max, so I think it gave them a gateway to kind of do that. I just didn't feel like, especially in those in-game scenarios, I think they had an opportunity to win. They got themselves to those final closing moments, and things just went abrupt. It was a beautiful exchange out of Eternal. I think at some point, you just have to give credit where credit's due. They really played that set well.
And in the end, exactly what we kind of said beforehand played out. You come in with some new ideas, you pick up the stew on Shooting Star, like the squeak on Golden Gulch, and it works out.
Yeah, I mean, in the paper, yeah, the Jin Max is have much more synergy, and the Piper right you is really Jin Piper. You put someone low, then Piper finishes the kills, then much speed, easy to pull. But to be honest, the answer of Byron healing, gas shield, Stu going all around was really good to stop that.
I really like to see that. Let's see if we're going to see Stu once more, because on this map, he was always a good pick as your mid-brawler. For the gem carrier, you want to have something with not too much range on the map, like double swoosh, because the gem carriers are actually quite close. So in this one, we see a lot less of 8-bits or Pam or Pierce, all of those other options for gem carrier. We see a lot of Sandy, Stu, Janet, something like this.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, IMS is in a must-ban category for me on this map, for the map and mode. You're going to see it there. So immediately, if IMS is banned, you know the other team is going to have that first overall pick. And this flex one that they're going to go with is Crow. I like Crow for a lot of reasons. I think he can play mid if you really need to, but more importantly for me, he grants you vision. A lot of the times he's going to be playing that wide open right-hand lane just so you are guaranteed access to seeing who's over there at all times, because that poison damage doesn't require you to use something like a vision gear that a lot of brawlers have to use on this map.
Yeah, also in this meta now, you want always to have a mid that can protect itself, right? Like a Janet that can fly, Sandy that can stun, Crow that can jump away. Yeah, the vision is really important. But I really expect to have a Mortis somewhere in the... Sandy, yeah, Sandy as mid. Actually, Sandy right now can play anywhere, right? You can hold. The vision is really important. This map is all about the vision. You can also kind it with counter it with Amber. Then everyone have the same vision, so yeah.
That is very true. Ember potentially not into a Crow. I feel like Crow has the better matchup there. Shelly's going to come out. You want to have that close range. I was also expecting Mortis, one of Loud's most favorite brawlers, and he's actually left open. One of the only 3 brawlers from that Buffy region that is left open. We're now looking at the next pick from Eternal and into a Shelly, into a Sandy. They both are very close range. You can open up the map, at least open up the bushes with that Ember. I think that's now a very good idea.
I think you need an anti-tank for sure somewhere. Even you have the Crow that helps, right? You need like a Chester or a Spike is banned. So they go first for the first pick, for the mid pick. So Crow is going to be lane. That's kind of interesting. So now they need somewhere an anti-tank for sure. Or a tank itself.
Yeah, do you just grab a tank? I mean, we see Shelly on this other end. I'm scared for Eternal that if they don't beef up enough, that's going to give gateway to Loud to just click the... There we go. So they do grab that anti-tank that you mentioned, because I don't think if they had that 6th pick was just clearly going to be something really beefy just to make sure they bolster themselves and can kind of overwhelm the enemy.
And as we already mentioned, Mortis would have definitely been picked up here if Chester wasn't on the other side. It would have been such a free matchup into that Jean and Crow. Now, last pick for the side of Loud. I would like to see something with a bit more range here still. Potentially no tank into that Chester. They're going to go with Mortis anyway. Never mind. The Chester potentially not enough, Pedro?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect them to pick the Mortis, but I did expect them to go aggro, like a Lily or some kind of something
Ali.
aggro to put Ali, to put pressure on the gym, so he can help with the vision. He cannot do these easy pulls, but the Mortis can still work.
And we're heading into map number 2 now. Loud versus Eternal. Loud, the ones that are the clear favorites, are now in the back foot. Eternal have the potential to set up an even better lead here. 2-0 for Eternal. That would be something.
Boy, and I'd love to see it too. Just a little shake-up in this region never hurt anybody, but Loud will not go down quietly. It's going to be Adinho starting off in the mid here. You mentioned it, Pedro. Sandy can be somebody that plays the mid on this map, especially with how close it is compared to the other lanes. It really is that mid to close range engagement that he thrives in.
Yeah, we're gonna see a really, really weird map, because every team have something that plays up for chaotic, that enjoy the chaotic, like Jin. When you are not in a good position, it's an easy pull. Then Mortis need to obviously do it chaotic. Shield is gonna swap all around, break some walls. It's gonna be a really fun game.
This also changes up because now that there's a super for Jean, Sandy knows that if he oversteps, he is a goner. Motep is going to take advantage and try and grant positioning. Dog there to match on the other end to dive in from Motep, but a stun there coming out of that gadget from Adinho. Beautifully played. A very interesting use of that super though, but we know it. Vision is so important, and now they've got positioning and the vision. Adinho even dares to grab an extra gem. This is domination from Loud early.
Yeah, you're right that Sandy needs to be careful of when he are grabbing gem, but they are doing it really good because they are are pushing at the same time, pushing together. So first Mortis go, make a bit of space, then Shelly pushing the right in the side, so Sandy can grab so easy gems.
Staggered Brawlers are going to lead to a great equation for Loud. Now they've got 9 gems. Hypercharge Super though. Motep dives forward. Fire Crow away from his teammate. So Adinho forced into the back lines. Is Cowway there to protect him? They just need to find any axes, any semblance of control, because otherwise Loud just have 1 gem away from a countdown.
Yeah, I think Mortis will just grab it and bring it down. Maybe he dies after that, but Adinho will be able to grab it.
So Mortis going to be looking for a delivery. He's bounced away. Instead, it's Adinho, though. This is ideal. Now, 1 Brawler concentrated with all the gems. They're just going to have to hold on and play defense. This allows Fire Crow space, Kyodog, the freedom to push forward and just protect their teammate. There's a super there for Gene, but so far at a magic hand distance that there's just no chance. Loud with a big bounce back in game number 1.
Yeah, I think the early is really easy for Loud, right? They were going to get most of the gems. And Eternas just rely on a good pull, on a good jump of Crow. But even if you do that, Sandy is really well protected by Sandy and Mortis. So it's a tough matchup for Eternals.
Yeah, it looks like it was just a great Loud draft, and I think by drafting Shelly early, it almost traps Eternal into going anti-tank. If Loud wanted the Mortis, that was probably the way to do it, because now it's the other side playing a little bit of mind games. They have to force this Chester pick a little bit. The Gene is interesting. I don't feel like I see it as much in this current meta, just because of how aggressive it is. Gene is somebody that doesn't do a ton of damage, obviously can swing games with that pull, but you're not going to want to pull a Shelly. You're not going to want to pull a Mortis. It's just really tough. Really, Sandy's the only option.
Yeah, Sandy, Shelly, Gene, sorry, right now needs a lot of supports, but I don't know if any support can stop all the aggression that Shelly and Mortis give. So it's, yeah, a hard matchup. The pull is not that good right now because maybe you pull the Sandy and then you have Mortis on top of you.
Yeah.
So literally you pull 2, so it's really, really hard.
Yeah, definitely a tough one to figure out. Despite maybe fumbling a little earlier in this game, it's Loud who are able to reclaim all of those gems. Now they've got space. Motep once again diving in, but it's not equating to kills. It gives them vision, but it's costing him his life. It's still allowing Loud access to the mid. I think we just got to see some more pop-off plays from Eternal. It just feels like Loud are executing better right now.
Yeah, Eternal needs to also keep the super. Now they have 2 hypercharge, but they need to use it all together. We have been Crow jumping like 3 times by his own. Now they could. Now it's a good one. They did all together. Now Chester have also the purple button to protect. They did the team kill, and now they need to hold it.
Great call out from Coach. They extinguish all of the purple buttons, and it allows them to grab every single gem on this map. It's just Adinho doing his best, dropping a little bit of coverage for Kyodog, but just not a fast enough brawler to cover that distance. A great response out of Eternal, especially in a back and forth where it really felt like Loud were just prevalent, always pushing forward. They've had these well-timed pushes to move up the map and grab these kills. Finally, though, we see that beautiful combination of Gene landing 2 nasty pulls, and then Crow's there for cleanup duty.
Yeah, the combination is really important. The synergy is key here because they don't have too many chances. So if they wasted like magic pull alone or Crow jumping, can be devastated.
Jubileo once again going to start off in the mid. Adinho rotating to the left-hand side. There's those daggers going out for Crow. It's the vision that this map needs, but because they're forcing this left-hand side a lot for the red roster, allows Mortis to kind of creep forward, dashing in, doesn't charge that super in time though, and now with the poison, will have to fail away. Thankfully for him, Kyodog is there to cover.
Yeah, I think they try to do it a bit chaotic again, so they can get supers and hypercharge faster, right? If the game is chaotic, it's much faster than if the game is frozen. But I don't know if that's the best idea against a Mortis though.
Running Reckless. Maybe not the play as Adinho will rotate back to the middle of the map. Mortis once again in super. Only makes a little bit of connection. Of course, Crow's going to dwindle how much healing he gets out of that exchange. Kyodog low HP. Poison will bring him to the ground. A little extra tap there. Eternal down, but still I feel like maintaining their lives enough to where they're going to be able to scoop up all these gems. A missed pull, definitely devastating, but at least they've matched the count a little more.
Yeah, well, Kyle did a really good job. He was able to push on the Chester alone. Even he was really close to death. He pushed really good, so Jubileo could grab a couple of gems. And now they're tight.
Oh, and Cowboy's able to get this takedown. They don't dare go for these gems. Fire Crow intelligently just going to leave these behind for the traditional gem carry. Doesn't want to harbor those. That way he can get up in the enemy's face, can let loose, but doesn't have to risk giving away all their treasure.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw the Gene wasting pull and hypercharge again. When you know your Crow had the scene, they could have literally did the same as the previous game. And they are, again, playing alone. If it's not the best, maybe that, yeah, it's going to be painful.
Doctor ordered a little more team play, and Eternal are going to have to figure it out here, but they're losing members fast. Jubileo left alone. Motep has a hypercharged super, and now they're almost going to have to force this. Team play going to have to be more than enough here. Hypercharge going down. No teammates there to back him up. Left all alone. A little poison going down. Kaio Dog a little weak. They have to find a kill. The hypercharged super just enough, though, for Kawe to expand. Jubileo has to back away. A great bounce off. Now they can collect these gems from the mid. It's at least a little more even a Fire Pro, though. A great job scooping these up. Motep looking for a frag and can't quite get it. Firecrow with 50 HP holding on. Jubileo has to find a way, and he does.
Now they can tie, and they have time enough to tie. They have the pull, which is also a game changer. Could be a game changer. The problem that Crow is really far away from jump, if I'm correct, because his jump was not the best. So maybe they can do it.
11-11. This one's going into overtime. That takedown pivotal, though. You can't afford to lose any members. Gene has to run for the hills. Motep there to cover. Kaio Dog doesn't quite get a full blast. It's an exchange on both sides, though. 12 gems. Adino's pocket. A takedown for Mortis. Beautiful out of Firecrow. And now walking home with 24 gems in their pockets. Unless Jubileo lands some kind of masterclass pull and gets 2 kills for 1 super, it's not going to happen.
It was a really good push there from Shelly at the end. Made a lot of space, so he could get the team kill. Was really important.
Really good in-game plays there. I mean, you saw just how much time they had to buy for themselves, but despite that, Loud remained calm. I think one observation, especially after your comments throughout that game, it really feel like, and I don't know, I'm not in that room, but it almost feels like comms were maybe misaligned a little bit when they engaged. A lot of times it was either Crow going in or Gene making a pull. It wasn't a lot of, let's use all of our hypercharges and do something like we see right here. This is what happens when they make a good heads-up play. Otherwise, though, kind of felt like a lot of recklessness, and I think recklessness can be good to charge those supers, but if you're gonna do all that work to charge those supers, make them count, steal some gems, get some kills.
It was a super interesting matchup overall because, as we already mentioned in the draft, Eternal had that double gem carrier comp on their side. Both the Crow and the Gene had gems at some point, and that's just not really what you want to have. You want to have one of those brawlers to be able to go in aggressively. Looking at the stats, they're actually almost mirrored. Countdown popping up there a little bit more, but overall, it was really just team play. It was communication, and Eternal, they made it super close. They almost had a 2-0 up against Loud.
Yeah, I mean, they proved that they could win it. Winning a game, I would say that make it possible to win the set, right? But I think it was a problem of synergy, a problem of not committing at the same time and wasting abilities alone.
And looking just at the draft itself, it kind of played out as we expected. We had the Chester on the right-hand side to counter that Mortis. Was that enough though, Pedro?
No, I mean, because the Morty played really good. He was pretty much running away, just coming in and out, getting the supers. Also, Shelly, he played basically like a Mortis, like rushing on their, dashing on their face, being able to put a lot of pressure by his own. So yeah, was super chaotic, and in this so chaotic, weak brawlers like even Crow or Gene that enjoy chaotic. When you have so many aggro and you don't have so much HP, you can suffer a lot.
And as you already predicted, we are definitely gonna see a set 4 now. This is not gonna be a close, not gonna be a clear winner here in the end. Eternal already took that set 1, and we then said, well, we're probably gonna see a 1-1 in the next one, and exactly that happened. It was close though. So now we're heading over to Pinhole Pond, a Brawl Ball map, Kenny. Loud or Eternal? Who's gonna take this one now?
I'm just going to default to Loud. This feels like a game mode that's right up their avenue, and it's also who I selected. One thing I think, though, about this region in general, while I do feel like Loud and SKC are still going to be the top dogs, at least based on what we're seeing through qualifiers and things like that, I think it's going to be a rockier road. I still feel like they're ahead. I don't know if it'll stay like that the entire year, but Eternal are showing that there are teams out here that can put up a fight. Heck, they might even win. We're only in set 3. But I do think this is hopeful for an SA region that haven't necessarily been given a lot of depth or credit to that depth from other regions around the world, and reasonably so. Unfortunately, SA and NA just haven't had the world's results in recent history to get the same respect of an EA or an EMEA.
A super exciting prospect that now finally this tier 2 scene can close the gap between themselves and Loud and SK Kalalas. Kind of similar to what we've seen in East Asia actually last weekend, where we also always talk about those big 4 teams. And now it seems like all of a sudden the lower tiers are coming up to actually compete with the big guns. Eternal, definitely one of those teams that you have to keep an eye out for the next few months as well. Maybe even today. They still have every chance to make it into the grand finals. We're heading into Pinhole Pond. We have Mortis banned out this time around, Pedro. Loud, it is their most picked brawler, so I think you just have to ban him.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see, to watch SA in Brawl Ball. I think they have a different playstyle, much more aggressive. Not necessarily the picks, don't necessarily need to go this Mortis or Mina that they do, right? But also they also always try these risky goals, these fancy goals that in EMEA we are more traditional. We try not to waste so much supers on shots or whatever when you think you don't have so many chances to score, and it's always fun to watch it.
We try to play passive, we corner the ball. That's just what we do in EMEA.
But if you're winning, you're winning, and that's ultimately all that matters. Mina, that first overall pick. Otis goes through, which makes me think, especially considering the band stage escape, I wonder if Frank comes in here at a 2-3 turn just to secure it a little bit early. Kenji, somebody that you're pointing at me that might come up as well, so I'll trust you on that, Coach. Let's see what happens here.
I think Kenji is a strong pick against Mina, put a lot of pressure. In these maps, you always need something to make a space, right? Space is everything in Brawl Ball, especially in this map. So, yeah, I mean, I expect the Kenji.
It's all about mid control and then like pinhole punt. Frank is coming in here. I definitely expected him to come. Spike and Ends are banned out here. Mortis as well. So the next best buffy brawler, definitely Frank. You would love to pair him with a Poco. That's not going to be possible now, and Shelly comes in as the last pick. A brawler that I've already mentioned. You have to play her on a map like this one. Mid control is everything. And into a Frank, you only really have Shelly to be able to deal enough damage to get rid of him.
Yeah, now you need a lot of damage to control the mid. B is banned, that could be a really good pick. Meg could be seen, maybe you miss a bit of damage, but you need something because Poco and Mina shield is gonna grant that mid for sure.
Meet Rob!
Whoa. Big pull out of you. That was nice. I mean, that's gotta be. You know, you've got a superpower, young man. That's a crazy pull out of you.
You couldn't see it,
Meg.
but when I say Meg, they both look at me like super strange.
It's just unusual. But the fact that you not only like named the 6-pick brawler there, you also named like an unusual brawler that doesn't traditionally show on the map. Round of applause for me.
Where on your list does she actually show up?
He was there.
Okay.
She was there.
He has the stats, he has the brains. Pedro is drafting for Loud secretly, and we just figured it out live on stream. We're now heading into our next map. I'm super excited if Eternal can continue as strong as they've been. They might not have won the last set, but they made it super close.
Excellent work, partner. We'll be kicking off here with Frank dueling with Mina on this left-hand side. In the middle of the map, Motep and Kawe playing along each other, and Kyodog gunning down the middle of the map. Adinho holding on to the super. Patient gameplay out aloud. You see this a lot of time in Brawl Ball. They're not just going to be hyper-aggressive. They're going to make sure they can ensure that they get a goal. And especially now that they've lost Frank, they're probably going to back down for a second.
Yeah, I think in these comms you have brawlers that fight for the mid a lot, so it's really important to see the first seconds, especially because we need to know what are the spawns, right? If the spawns are not the best, if Piper and Frank is in the opposite side, for example, Frank can push a lot on the side, and by the way, that was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, Coach's Meg pick really paid dividends here early. Several hypercharged swings of the bat Kyodog equates to a lot of kills. Dubaleo now on the right-hand side, just trying to branch out, but it's Loud being very oppressive here in this early game. Eternal clustering up together, relying on those heroes. Now Kawe expands, super shot to back them down as Kyodog has not been removed from the monster truck yet. That's something they have to see. They need Meg to be brought down to a P-shooter.
Yeah, they need to put a lot because they have a lot of HP between Kyodog and Edinho, and if they don't focus the same guy, they're not gonna have damage enough to put them down.
Oh, and a nice pass there, and of course with the little bitty pistol, just can't do enough damage, doesn't have a super to equate to something like we saw earlier from that hypercharge, so all of a sudden, Eternal have equalized. They get the swing, but no contact. Kyodog doesn't even get a single out of the interaction. It's just going to be backed off, and now this hypercharge super. Shields going down, Kawe able to remove himself at the middle of the map. Dubaleo dancing, Loud dribbling. Each side just trying to find advantage, but no numbers have been lost yet.
Well, we can see how important are the hypercharges. We have seen basically right now, like I think 5 hypercharge missing or used without hitting the super. That's really important. We can see how the top players really respect those abilities, right? When you see a Mina without super pressing the purple button, it's really important to feed. When Notice comes, also the shield from Mina is really important. Yeah, it's really important how they manage all these abilities.
Ooh, a little bit of a whiff there coming out of Jubileo, and now he's going to be stunned. Oh, but that's a nice gadget coming out of Motep, so a creative use out of it, but it's Loud. With the numbers, unfortunately for them, they don't have the positioning to go for this ball. It's currently positioned on that top right-hand side. How do you see overtime kind of playing out here?
Yeah, I think I see the blue team with so many hypercharges and the red so close to them, and it's all about how they manage this.
Well, now they've got the shield going down to protect themselves. Jubileo, cleanup crew, able to move down this right-hand side of the map. Just using what's ever left of the extra buttons there from Shelly. But once again, back down. This Meg has just been a force to be reckoned with. Really aggressive up the middle of this map. It's got good DPS, solid amount of HP. Eternal leave the ball up top. They're gaining positioning, but without that ball, they certainly can't score.
Yeah, I mean, they are going for the tie, right? They sold themselves. They don't want to. They think they are not going to win on open, and they are just playing safe, trying to tie, and then they have probably a better strat for the next game.
Loud sense the weakness. They know that Eternal are not playing for this win, so they just get rather aggressive. Jubileo doesn't quite connect the tornado. This is good for them, though. Meg does not get back into that monster truck. Instead, she dies. Now Jubileo getting a little more antsy. Let's see if they bring this ball up. Yes, they do. They are going for it. Fat splatter on the ground, but Eternal need to be careful. I think going to assess the situation and make sure that they don't just give this ball to Loud for free. They're going to put that ball right back in the corner, play for these 2 seconds, on to the next round. Just like you said, this is not your traditional overtime composition. When all those walls go down, they need that close range interaction.
Yeah, I think it was risky to grab the ball right when you have a plan not to, grab it. Yes, because someone coming back to grab the ball make you lose a lot of pressure, and it's really important that the whole team stick to the same plan. Also, we saw so many hypercharges and so many hypercharges missing.
Yeah.
I hope we don't see that this game, because yeah, they have a lot of HP, so they feed a lot, and we can expect a lot of supers.
After Dog's pop-off play, a lot of misses, and honestly, for both ends, it hasn't been perfect. It's been scrappy, but that's what we love about South America. Despite the chaos, we always get some big-time plays. After all that hard work, the ball's only moved about 2 inches. Dog still remaining in mid, all the reinforcements coming back. Now bouncing up to that left-hand side. I'm looking for a Dino on that right-hand end to create some space.
Yeah, they have all the pressure. They're gonna try to go for the goal here. Shelly's coming. Maybe he can do an insane play. Let's see if we can see something. No, it's gonna be a goal.
No chance there, and plenty of health points to go around for Loud. All 3 members standing tall. It's one of the beauties of Meg as well. It has a decent amount of HP. It does a ton of DPS, but ultimately it has 2 lives. There's a swing that absolutely did not miss. Now a purple button being popped for Dog. Adino will activate one of his own. Noise-canceling headphones going down. Super being activated just to ensure he can get this off for free. It's another takedown. Eternal just rotating brawlers right now. Loud, though, just up in their faces, in their grill, nowhere to walk. That's a big pushback from Coway. They're doing everything as possible to try and prevent this goal, but it's not quite enough. Loud will take the game.
Still a few misses there. Like the Frank couldn't time really good the white shield. They miss a few supers also. I mean, I'm surprised.
Yeah, just a little sloppy. Not what you're used to seeing out of this level of competition.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect this kind of players. Also, they maybe don't need it. I will saw that, right? But was surprised.
So not perfect, nonetheless. Loud managed to squeak by with the win there. Dino already weak in this interaction on the right hand. And Mina and Frank have been battling back and forth in these early games. Now Motep rotates to that left-hand side. He doesn't do enough damage, though, into something like an Otis, so he'll need backup. We see Jubileo rotate over to this left-hand side. Coway up in the face of Dog does go down as he explodes out of that mech. He's got a little pistol meant for Motep. Squares him in the face, but a heal will go down to preserve his life.
Yeah, Coway with that Shelly now, he's trying to follow a bit more the matchup, which should be Frank, right? You would suffer a lot against a Notice or a mech, so you need to look for a Frank all the time. And if you are able to hold the Frank, that is probably the one that is going to put more pressure. Not more damage, but more pressure because of his HP, right? You should have an easy game.
Ball back in Loud's hands. Hurricane of Violence going down. It's going to allow for them to get a kill. Frank just swinging wildly. Hammer hit now blows up Shelly's face as well. Firecrow with an easy waltz forward. Loud strike first in game number 2. Eternal just haven't found a way to knock one in the net yet.
Yeah, I mean, we see Loud now learning from the mistakes, knowing where to put each matchup, running away. And I think Eternal is not like realizing that's happening, right? And they are not really following the matchup that they should.
Well, despite Loud with an explosive start right there, they're not able to squeeze one into the goal. It's Eternal dribbling right-hand side. Dog low HP will fall back to the shallow side and allow Adino to expand for him, flashing that super button. Adino not baited quite yet, though. Super in hand, ball in hand as well, and Jubileo receives a ton of heals. A perfectly timed windmill gadget drags in both these enemies. That's dangerous, though. Poco can't get follow-up shots. He's not a damage dealer.
No, I mean, that was a good synergy to keep the Mina alive, making a lot of fun and a lot of damage, but was not enough.
Now Motep gonna have to rely on this super too. Yeah, maybe an opportunity there, right?
Yeah, we saw. I think I'm not wrong. I saw Otis missing hyper super again. I mean, I don't know what's happening to these guys today.
Not traditional Loud gameplay. It's sloppy, it's unorthodox, and now with a super pass over, Jubileo can dump this ball. Oh, that would have been nasty. One regular shot away from getting to the other side. That would have been filthy. Now 20 seconds on the clock. This is looking scary for Eternal.
Now it's open. Now Meg has an insane matchup, right? They need to push. There is no bushes, no walls. They just need to hold. They need to freeze. They need to don't die. They don't have the ball. They don't get the call. You get the game.
Loud using all of their hypercharges just to play defense. Dog pulls an SK Classic, and after all the misplays, he's going to make Coach Pedro just a little prouder. It's going to be Loud taking a 2-1 lead. Much better stuff towards the end of that game.
Yeah, I mean, they prove that they understand the game during the games go. They understand the playstyle. They understand what they need to do, where they need to put the Frank, where they need to put the Meg. They did it, and I feel like Eternal were not ready to react.
Just felt like the game plan wasn't quite coherent enough. I don't know if the Meg caught them off guard a little bit at the end there, if the Franks was just enough. I like Poco on this map, but one of the issues I find myself frequently running into watching professionals at this level is if you're not putting out enough output of damage compared to the enemy team, if Frank's getting too much, if Meg's too much, there's only so many heals that can go around. He is a group healer, but if your team's spaced out across the floor, if Mina and Shelly aren't perfectly next to you, it's just really hard to get maximum value.
And I feel like that was exactly the problem. If you get Poco on your team, but you're missing out on Frank, you're not going to have enough DPS to actually take him down. We look at the kills here, and yes, it's not about kills in this game mode, but they were barely alive on the right-hand side.
I mean, that's crazy.
It is actually crazy. Kawi did a phenomenal job, Jubileo as well, at just pushing them back, creating a lot of pressure, even if their teammate was down. So they basically played a 2v3 at times and were able to still get the best out of those situations. But for here, the draft was definitely on the side of Loud. And despite them missing a couple of hypercharges, they came out on top.
I mean, that gives Loud even more reason to say that they have the best draft, right? They miss so many supers. The Otis, I think, miss every hyper. And they still won. I think he missed every hyper. I think he missed every hyper. And a couple normal supers.
Let's get a fact check on that. Yeah, if he did, that's very unfortunate.
I need to say that some of the miss was a bit of play from Mina Shield, but even.
But nonetheless, stat's a stat.
We do see that both of those teams are playing together in the same spot, and Kawi and Motep are actually living together since a whole year already, which is super interesting. Last year they weren't on the same roster. Now they are. They can finally also talk about their matches after they've happened in the kitchen. Hey bro, we could have done that better, or hey, we are the champions. They still have the chance to make it to the grand finals and become champions, Kenny.
At least the mood's the same. I mean, imagine like one of your bros just popped off, had the tournament of his life, and the other guy is like the one that he beat. I mean, like, I don't know how that synergy goes down, but this year we're riding or dying together. Either we're having a terrible day or we're having an awesome day. Gotta love it.
And I hope they still have an awesome day, even if this does not work out in their favor. They still made it into the semis. Many people didn't believe they could even beat Olympus Squad. And did they take a set of Loud, the most dominant team in the region last year? We're now heading into Bell's Rock, potentially a last map if Loud takes this one. And Bell's Rock screams Reiko. He's so good down the mid lane. Really excited to see him played on this map. They banned out Brock and Gray as well, so they're making sure on the other side we have nothing to open up the map.
Yeah, I think you can always kind of try to stop a Rico with a thrower, like a Tick or a Sprout, but the Rico can still work. Like I have heard so many Ricos that say that they can deal with any thrower in this map. Also, Grom can be not a problem, but tools to stop him. But I think can do a really good job.
They're putting their money on Mina once more. Didn't bring them any luck on the previous set. Let's see how it goes down in this one, Kenny.
Well, now that they've got the Brock and the Gray out of the way, a lot of those wall break options are gone, so this is going to give Ollie an easier time. Now Rico's got more walls to stay up. I mean, are there any, like, standout ways to kind of deal with a composition like this? Because Ollie's not as traditional as he used to be. He still shows up, but what are teams doing to combat him? Why isn't he showing as much recently?
I think it's a really good tool to stop all the aggression, because you can still work around the wall, and you are able to help all the teammates and to stop like in this case a Mina or a Cathe or a Kenji, whatever they can bring aggro. And the late game of this Brawler is insane.
Yeah.
They're going to go with damage here. Spike definitely good choice into that Ollie Max comp. And this is actually the first time I think we're not seeing RT on Knockout today. Heading into this match, it could be the last one. Loud could close it out here, moving to the grand finals. But Eternal has something to say still. They showed us some great plays, and if they have draft here, they can definitely win. But Pedro, how is their draft?
I think they are both teams are gonna. I mean, the blue team kind of need to hold until late game, try to get the supers, especially with Max. Probably at some point you will be able to give hyper to your allies, so we'll get super. And the late game, I would say it's for them. In the other side, the red team have a bit more range, have a bit more aggression, so they need to push and hopefully get a kill before the Toxic come out.
Yeah, the longer this drags out, the closer Firecrow gets to a super, and Hypnosis is a huge factor, especially when everybody has one life. If Firecrow gets one Hypnotize off on you, it's free shots. These pros aren't going to miss as easily as they did in something like Brawl Ball.
Yeah, I couldn't see if he used a gadget already, but it's really important for the red team to know what gadget Firecrow is using, right? If he's using Jump or he's using Control, it's completely different playstyle that you need to approach, and yeah, that's really important.
Motep being backed away, super going down, Kawe a goner for this world. Now Jubileo marching up the map, knows that they even want a chance at this, they have to get aggressive now. At a bare minimum, he's going to get his super out of the exchange because Motep also going to fall. These Rico shots are filthy, especially with all these walls remaining up. It's just a Rico playground.
Yeah, it was very interesting in the draft because the Spike was the last pick, if I'm not wrong. So they have Mina and Gas, and they need to find something to stop both the Ollie and the Rico. And I think they forgot a bit about the Rico, and the Rico's having the game of his life.
Yeah, now Tank Trade is going to allow Ollie to charge back up too, so they've given him a hyper charge just off of landing shots. What a ironic punishment. You're landing your shots and you're feeding the enemy team a super. Kyodog, though, in trouble. Now a gadget going down for Jubileo. Beautifully played off of that. They use everything, though. Oh, and even the Hypnotize, not enough. Eternal get away with one there.
Yeah, it was surprising. The synergy, they got both the Spike and the Mina from far away. Pinched Rico really good. Spike super on top, then Mina come with a shield. He can come aggressive because he has the shield right to run away later, and they beat a really good kill. I don't know if they can do it again. No.
Kyodog relying on this left-hand side. It is going to be Firecrow, the tank, playing in the middle of this map. Traditionally, where you see Kyodog doing that. He's got a hypercharge, releases. A little bit of protection there from Jubileo. Still weak on that top left-hand side. You can see a purple spike. That means his damage gear has been activated. He's got low HP. Jubileo, it's a runaway for the tornado, though. Motep on the right-hand side for the flank. There's only so many walls that Kyodog can operate off of. Excellent job from Eternal. The round one didn't go their way, but they used their utility very wisely. Full exchange of hypercharged supers there in that round number 2. And then in round 3, they played around that Rico super. Getting that gadget down and Spike surviving was crucial.
Yeah, I think the Loud team is trying to get the win too early, right? They just need to hold. The Spike will not be able to push on the Rico. Mina either. Just put Firecrow follow on the Mina so you can control a bit to the game. And then just wait for late game, right? You will get supers, Spike should not, maybe Gas get it, Mina should not, so you will have more abilities for the end game if you just hold a bit.
So Loud might require a little more patience if they want to come away with this one. They do have an Ollie, but right now they are feeling a full force of red moving its way up the middle of the map. Adinho does have speed, so they can use this if they need to get themselves out of a pinch. A lot of the times, this is to shift the momentum, just to move them up the map, overwhelm the enemy a bit, and it is going to grab them that positioning they desperately needed.
Yeah, they're going to spot now. They need to hold here, heal a bit. If you don't die, nice. Kayo doesn't die, they need to reset. Get the HP back, then probably Matt will get the speed for late game, and they just push together.
Now they have several of these spooky ghosts up the middle of the map too, so Loud's not going to be able to easily march up the middle. It's going to be a gadget on that left-hand side. Buys Jubileo a little bit of time. Oh, look at the tornado go down. It's devastating. Firecrow can't even use the hypnosis that he required. Kyodog doesn't land shots. Motep connects. Adinho left all alone. This is another round for Eternal.
Yeah, to be honest, I can see the Motep having a lot of value, right? He range all of them. Even though Spike and Mina are not hitting too many shots, just putting them all together on the mid, and Gas is just tapping.
Spike charging up a super as well. Life plant down just to provide a meat shield. A little extra health points in the category for red roster. Motep, long range, trying to land some shots on Adinho. It's been in this constant battle over the years of Brawl Stars. Long range sharpshooters into somebody like Max. If you're shifty enough, Max can get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they are using the speed too early, right? They just need to hold for the opportunity. In this case, when they push, just speed, so they get a bit scared and they just come back. And yeah, I think they are playing a bit too risky when they just need to hold.
Firecrow certainly pressing the issue on this top right-hand side. Left all alone. Kyodog weak, can't be there for reinforcements, and Adinho does have a hypercharged super ready to go. Loud, I think, are going to play around this. Late for these closing scenarios. They immediately delete a life clamp. They need to start connecting with Brawlers. Bounce shots everywhere. Kyodog, once again, without a great super, Cowway there to survive a little bit longer. Fire Crow, 11,000 health points on that top right-hand side. Now moving to the left. Dashes, connects. 2v2 situation as Motep and Jubileo play these outside lanes. Fire Crow encroaching. Bounce shot from Motep. A beautiful super will force Adinho away. Hypnosis, not enough. Eternal, take a set.
Yeah, again, I think they went too early to use the aggression, right? We could see the Rico hyper, which was a really good momentum, but just wait 5-10 seconds and the storm is closer, they come closer together, and it's much easier to hit some shot.
So if I'm not wrong, the sentiment you're giving me is Loud don't have a flawed draft in this situation. You feel like they have a good start, it's just entirely on the strategy. You want to see the Ollie wait to these in-games. You want to see them use a max super, maybe Ollie combination, or at a bare minimum, just start making some tags with this Kyodog super, right? I feel like it was just a lot of wasted opportunities.
I just miss a bit of patience there.
Okay.
I thought it's so funny, Pedro, you said the Rico's kind of forgotten and he has the time of his life. He's having such a fun time. In that moment, he dies because of a Mina ult combined with Spike, and after that, it was just downhill, really. So I don't know if it was a caster's curse. You're on our side now. You
have that power now.
Exactly.
Wield it with responsibility, young man. It is a tough force to be reckoned with.
With a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility, Pedro.
Yeah, I think that they should just look for matches all the time, just Oli on Mina, Max on Spike, and Max on Jhin, on Gas, and just the Rico running away from the Gas. That was the only one that was putting him low, so they need to retreat. And I don't know. I think they didn't work together knowing the stage of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Ollie also didn't have the greatest of showings in this match. They definitely wanted him to have a bit more value. I wonder if it would have been better if they in the end had this RT that we kind of talked about before, that has is a bit more of a flex brawler. Super good at the beginning, but also in the end. Ollie just kind of had to wait things out, and they got pressured back again and again, because in the early game they couldn't really do much with that Ollie.
Yeah, it just felt like a lot of good choices, not great execution. I really do feel like if they play around the Ollie a little bit more for those in-game situations, I mean, Hypnosis is essentially free kills. Easier said than done, obviously. I'm not going to take away. Like, obviously, Eternal played that well, are a great team. I felt like there were a lot of misconnections there. I felt like I wasn't seeing enough Rico's shots grab kills. It was just kind of using the shot to put pressure to move the enemies back, but some beautiful bounces. I think they played around the windmill gadget from Mina in a really strong way, and it allowed Rico, that first overall pick, I believe, to be neutralized. And if Rico in a map that should be having a heyday isn't, I think that's the biggest compliment to a team. Eternal really handled it well.
We're now heading over to Safe Zone, and I'm going to make a very bold statement here, Pedro. So far, we've said Loud can win if they have the better draft, despite missing a lot of those hypercharges. Now, in the last set, they didn't have draft, or at least not as convincingly, and they lost it in the end.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for me, they have the draft. Not super crazy, but they have the draft. And they did some small mistakes. And, of course, Eternal was really good at punish it, really good at don't making mistakes, because they didn't do too many. And, yeah, you can see that at this level, doing some small mistakes, it sets.
Safe Zone, it's up now, and Crow immediately first pick. I love to see that. Again, a lot of damage potential. We talked about those water brawlers before. Angelo is banned out, so Eve is the next best option here. Also in this map, but we talked about it a lot on Bridge Too Far. Safe Zone also has this water, and in the past you were able to also break open the right-hand side lane. It was the Colt and Rico map. Now, where you can't break open the right-hand side, is playing something like an Eve definitely comes in handy. Eternal now with their second pick here, still need something for mid. Brock is going to come in here to break open the map a little bit, and he's pretty good to hold down his mid lane.
Common culprit on this map for high safe damage too is somebody like a Melody. So especially with Chuck gone, we're kind of running out of those natural all-aggression brawlers. This is certainly one of them that's going to be half playing a lane, but half playing a way to get to the high safe and do damage. Crow has an easy jump. Byron there is basically just going to be able to instigate health points, just trying to feed his two brawlers to make sure that they can keep crossing deep into enemy territory.
Yeah, we have two kind of playstyle here. We have basically the blue team that is very basic, sniper on the mid, aggro on the lane, defender on the other lane, right? Basic, classic, 2021. We could see that.
Just the way you like it, right?
Yeah, that's the way you like it. And we have a lot of aggression on the other side. We have Brock than 8-bit that do insane amount of damage, and you have, even in the defensive lane, which is the right, you have the 8-bit that can come aggro because he can walk over the water, so we can say it's two different. If the red team manages to put a good turret and a good aggression, they can do insane amount of damage in so little time.
Loud have been at the top of this region for a long time, now running it back for a third year in a row, but already in month number 1 of our 2026 season, Eternal challenging them, dragged them all the way to a set 5 to even give themselves a chance at a grand final. Motep, somebody that looking to prove himself as a top tier player. Boy, would it be a way to put himself at the top of the region by beating number 1.
I think I just saw a Brock jumping into a Cathe face to kill her. That was insane, and he was able to do a lot of damage because of that. I mean, it's really good that you need to kind of do this kind of skill move, risky move to make the difference, and that worked.
Early pacing has been rather quick. Both of these teams not shying away from dealing damage. Now Kawe, well established with his turret. Firecrow even dropping a hypercharge down, I think fully counting on maybe cycling that super, which he does. Puts it down, and look at this. A perfect drop. The edge of that circle, if it is crossing onto the high safe, will do damage. You're seeing about 1,500 HP every time it does so. Eve, though, able to establish a turret of her own. Now all the little spawners are going to be pests at Loud's side. Yeah,
Loud right now is basically suiciding for damage. We will see later on the stats. That's how they win. Lose dying 20 times each. We saw already a hyper from Eve. Probably 8-bit is going to be close probably to his hyper, and he didn't use it yet. And the damage is even.
So Firecrow does have daggers, but not a lot of range, and especially with spawners coming in from Eve, Firecrow just has to back away. It's Loud heavily on the defensive side right now. They have to be careful. If Kawe gets his positioning, especially with the turret down, this could be game over.
Yeah, I mean, if they manage to get 1 or 2 kills and put the turret and Brock and 8-bit are alive, it's gonna be a lot of damage. Also, we see the Crow with the hyper. He's gonna get super really soon, and that's also another shield. We are gonna see some really close ending here.
Motep does squeeze by with 1 shot, but not enough to trickle to 25%. Kawe, though, with a long-range shot, will bring Kyodog to his knees. This is something to look out for as well. Adinu does have that hypercharged super. They have to make contact with that safe and pierce through it. With 15 on the clock, they're going to be rushing up the middle of this map. Adinu knows the go time is now, dives in. Not enough, though. He's not close to making contact, and now Eternal, on the other end, are able to dish out damage. This is irreversible. In month number 1 of the year, Loud, number 1 from SA, have been put on match point. Not in the grand finals, we're still in the semis.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, really good how they played with around the 8-bit turret, right? The first one was really defensive, then the second one was a bit more closer with the hypercharge, and then once they are ready and they have the control, they put an aggressive one, they synergy, then Brock and 8-bit comes together, Eevee take care of the defense on the Crow. They did really good job.
A lot of drama in roster mania for SA, some last-second swaps, and Motep, a pivotal part of that. Wanted to make a name for himself, reunites with Jubileo, one of his old teammates, has high expectations. SKC thought they could do better, Motep thought they could do better. Right now, they are getting results. Loud with early control up the middle of the map, rockets raining down. Unfortunately, the main man I've been crediting fell immediately.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of swap a bit the lane, right? They try the Brock to take care of the Byron, but no one can take care of the Byron. They just need to kill the Cathe as soon as possible, but they didn't.
Dino relying on that shield, a little gadget, keep him afloat slightly longer. Spawners on that left-hand side will slowly deploy as Kawe establishes himself in the right-hand end. Firecrow does have that super, being puffed up with Kyodog heals, will dive in and instantly go down. Not a great interaction there for Loud.
Yeah, I think they make the call of putting the Loud, put the game a bit more chaotic, right? Cathe right now is coming here and there, not only wasting super on damage, trying to get also help on the kill on Eve. I don't know if the best idea, I would go still for the damage, maybe the Crow is the one that go jump here and there, but for now they are being able to control the game.
Feels like Firecrow's matchups are just difficult right now. It's been really hard for him to get up in the faces of the enemy team. The team play from Eternal has been highly focused on Firecrow. If they remove Firecrow, Kyodog as a Byron is not going to do enough damage. They have to rely on Adino at that point to hit those supers. He's not being fed a lot either. I feel like this is just a lot of great decision-making out of Eternal.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that Cathe has a bad matchup. It's like Eternal is doing really good as focus her when he comes aggro. He still have the HP, the healing of Byron behind, but they are doing a really good focus on her.
Firecrow just dives up the middle of the map, does fine tags, but not enough for kills. It's still going to be Eternal raining down. Despite all of that, not a lot of a lead. They had control for the entire time, but you can see what this brawler can do. Firecrow expands his space, able to drag this well below 75%. Now they just have to worry about defense a little bit again.
Yeah, they are winning. They put the defensive turret on 8-bit right on the back. He's gonna help a lot on the Cathe, but they swap it. They are gonna go still more aggro. They're gonna get more damage, more shields.
Now Kawe able to let loose on the high save just a little bit more. They want to get to that magical 50% number. Just trying to pull up a few tags, and now Loud know that their tournament lives are on the line. They have to move up the middle of this map. Kyodog has a super available, has to play defense. Dagger's going down for Crow. Well below 50%. Loud trying to climb their way back, but enough time from Eternal. 41% might be the magic number, and Loud simply can't match. 3 days before qualifiers, Motep goes to a new roster. Says, I feel overshadowed. What does he do? He drops a large storm cloud over Loud's head. Loud leave early, Eternal in the grand finals.
Yeah, it's insane what these guys just did, right? They proved everyone. They got dropped at some point of their career. They got dropped,
yeah.
dropped from 1 or 2 teams, so they proved that they are good enough, that they deserve a spot on the high part of the leaderboard, and yeah, it was crazy.
And once again, for us, it's a win-win situation. Eternal wins. We voted for the other team. Our predictions are completely in shambles once more. This is just a theme that we keep following this month.
2026 started off with a bang, and all of a sudden, this is officially more than just a 2-team race. Obviously, SKC have by no means secured themselves a spot in the grand finals, but for Eternal, what a win. Kawe's been around this region for a long time, had a really good 2025, and now joins 2 teammates in Jubileo and Motep. Some familiar players with each other. They've had great results like LCQs and things like that. And for Loud, you could just see the devastation on Firecrow's face. I don't think they expected that, and I think to lose in such a close fashion has to add extra damage to the wound.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to see players suffering, right, that much.
Yeah.